Enjoy the convenience of 7 days a week banking and extended hours with Cube from First Arkansas Bank and Trust. Member FDIC. It's time for From the Short Grass with Trey Schaap, a golf podcast for those who love golf, struggle with golf, and just like to enjoy the outdoors and fellowship with friends, all while chasing a ball around trying to put it in a 4 1/4 inch diameter hole. From the Short Grass is brought to you by Stevens Incorporated, an independent financial services firm with the freedom to focus on what matters most. Blackman Auctions. For over 80 years, better auctions have always been Blackman Auctions. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels. We partner with you to deliver high-yield results by managing, developing, and investing in top-quality hospitality assets. And now, from the Short Grass, here is your host, Trey Schaap.
Welcome to another edition of From the Short Grass. I am your host, Trey Schaap. It was an amazing week at the second annual Jackson T. Stevens Cup at Seminole Golf Club in Juno Beach, Florida. Seminole is one of the top courses in the world and has long been rated the best in Florida. 7 men's teams and 7 women's teams, along with individuals from HBCUs and military academies, comprise the field this year. Seminole Golf Club measured 7,280 yards for the men and played to 6,200 yards for the women. The women's individual champion with a score of 206, 10 under par, helping her team secure the number 1 seed for match play, was Rachel Kuehn. Rachel Kuehn, 2022 Jackson T. Stevens Cup individual women's champion. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty great. Obviously, this is such a great field, such a tough golf course, and it just, it's been really cool to come out and to see the team perform and to string 3 good rounds together. I just feel really lucky, and what a great event. It's definitely way up on my list of favorite college golf events played.
When you knew that you were coming to Seminole, what were your expectations?
Well, I was nervous. Obviously, it has such a reputation for being so tough, so I didn't really know what to expect. And luckily, we have 2 boys at Wake that played in the Walker Cup here in 21, so we got tips from them to try to figure out what to expect, watch some videos beforehand, and we got here, and to be honest with you, the conditions were a little more scoreable. I don't think the wind picked up. It didn't show its teeth in that sense. So there definitely were more birdies out there than I thought there would be. But obviously, this is such an incredible venue and one of my favorite golf courses that I've played for sure.
What type of practice did you do leading up to this event? Because it's hard to simulate what you have here at Seminole back in North Carolina trying to prepare for this, right?
Lots of bunker shots. We joked, our coaches and our team joked that we've hit more bunker shots in the past week than we have all semester, just to get ready. And we have a golf course called Forsyth, not too far from campus, that has some really fast greens. So we went out there to try to putt on those to get used to putting putts with die pace. And honestly, we took advantage of the windy days at home. We've had a couple of those, and it's nice. It's a little frustrating to practice in, but it's really good to prepare for tournaments where you know there's going to be some wind. When
you got here, saw the course, teed off the first hole, did you think that you could get to the number you got to, 10 under par?
There were more birdies out there than I thought. I wasn't really sure what would win this week, in the sense that kind of once we played the first 2 rounds, you kind of got a sense, and this is one of those golf courses that I think the more you play it, the more comfortable you get on it, and you kind of learn where you can and can't miss it. So I don't necessarily know if I had a number in mind of like what would win this week, but I definitely knew that if you hit it well and you played smart, that you could make some birdies, especially on the par 5s, which were kind of the more gettable holes this week.
What was working well for you here at Seminole?
Yeah, I hit a lot of greens, which I think really helps because I didn't have to stress my bunker game that much. But on top of that, my pace was pretty good this week. I didn't give myself many testers for par, which was great. So I think it was a really good combination for me. And it's not the narrowest golf course, but there's definitely some trouble to get into. So hitting balls straight off the tee was important too.
You're top 10 in the world in world golf amateur rankings. This was a extremely strong field. How does it feel to come out on top?
Absolutely. I mean, I think I heard that there were 7 of 8 Curtis Cup girls here. But honestly, it's a really cool feeling because it is a really strong field, and I think it speaks to what the tournament's trying to do, getting such a strong field together. But honestly, this is one of those things that you kind of get to high-level amateur golf, and it's really just whoever has the best game that week. Anyone can win, anyone can beat anyone. So I'm glad that it kind of all the pieces fell together for me this week.
Do you have a place picked out for the silver trophy back at Wake?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I'll have to figure it out. I might send it home next time I see my mom. I have on the top of my desk, I have some trophies sitting there, so it would look nice there, I guess.
Obviously, your mom has to be extremely proud.
Yeah, I'm sad she wasn't here this week, but she's at a meeting. So I know she was watching. She joked with me this morning. She goes, "Can you text me in between holes and keep me updated?" And I was like, "Oh, I've got something else to tend to, Mom." But I hope I'm making her and my dad proud. And obviously they've both been great role models for me. And I feel so lucky. I have two brothers too, and they've all just been so supportive, and they just want what's best for me, and I'm so appreciative of them.
Did you know where you stood? I mean, you were tied there for the longest time this afternoon before you were able to make some birdies coming in.
Yeah, I asked my assistant coach today on 13T. I asked where I stood, or I asked if I could see the leaderboard, and he was like, "Okay, well, Carla finished at 8 under." And I was like, "Okay." And I was at even par at this time, so I was 8 under for the tournament, and I was like, "Okay." And I birdied 15 and 16, and so I kind of knew, and I asked him again as I stood on 18T. I said, "Okay, where do I stand?" And he's like, "All right, you've got a 2-shot lead." So at that point I knew, I was going to hopefully hit the fairway, hit the green, take 2 putts, and get off the golf course.
And then once that final putt dropped, your teammates were there to help celebrate with you. You got doused with water.
Yeah, I need to wring out my skirt, and I'm pretty sure that there's a puddle in my shoe. But no, my teammates, they're the best. I feel so lucky to have people that, they're happy for my success just like I'm happy for their success. And, I really do think that we push each other to get better, and we bring out the best in each other. And I think we just have such a great chemistry on the road especially, and I love them to death.
Besides winning, what is one thing you take away from Seminole?
I think one thing I can take away is the fact that it's okay to kind of grind sometimes, because I feel like even when you hit good golf shots on this golf course, you're faced with a lot of 40, 45, 50 footers for par, to hopefully two putt for par. So even when you're playing good golf, it can still be a grind, and I think that's one thing I'm really proud of myself, because it'd be really easy to lose focus sometimes. But I was able to kind of keep myself in the moment and to keep my concentration, because, afternoon round, 36 yesterday and an afternoon round today, it takes a lot out of you. So I'm really glad that I could keep with it.
Well, there'll be a nice ice bath waiting on you. Congratulations. You're a champion now.
Thank you so much.
On the men's side, David Ford had the golf world talking after a 62 in his second 18 holes of stroke play, and he finished 54 holes with a score of 200, minus 16, to help his North Carolina Tar Heels secure the number 1 seed heading into match play. Second annual men's individual champion of the Jackson T. Stevens Cup, David Ford. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty good. Definitely a blessing to win, but I feel like I've worked pretty hard for it, and the Lord's blessed me with a win here, so it feels good.
Coming into Seminole Golf Club, what did you know about it, and what were your expectations?
I knew it was pure. I knew it was prestigious. I knew it was a great golf course, so it's expectations were definitely exceeded this week, I'd say. These are the fastest greens I've ever played today, so the greens were amazing the whole week. There wasn't a ball mark on the greens when we arrived here, not a divot in the fairway. So Seminole's amazing, and the bunkers are pure. Everything's pure. I mean, it's a great golf course.
Obviously, it's a team event, but winning the individual championship here has to mean something, right?
Yeah, it means a lot. I think it means more because of the teammates I have. So that's something I always talk about, is like, you don't have to win in college golf to have an amazing college golf experience. And the guys I have around me are funny. They support me they pick me up when I need to. So I think it makes it more rewarding just because of the people I have around me. And all my teammates are a huge blessing. But ultimately, I want to win the team championship.
What's it going to feel like taking that silver trophy back to Chapel Hill?
Yeah, it'll feel pretty good. It's been a long time coming for a college win. It feels like a long time coming, but I guess it's only been like a year and 2 months. But it'll feel good to get one under my belt and remind me that I want to keep going for more.
Your second 18 in this tournament was the round of the tournament. It's been talked about so much. What was going so well for you?
I was hitting it great, and I got kind of lucky with some putts falling, and that's kind of adds up to a 62. I mean, I hit my irons. This is the best I've ever hit my irons in a tournament. I didn't putt great this week. I had some putts fall yesterday, but I didn't putt amazing the entire week. So ultimately, it was just I hit the irons really, really, really good.
When did you know that you had it rolling? What hole was it that you really felt like, okay, this could get stupid low?
I mean, I missed 4 12-footers in a row on the front nine. So I missed short putts on 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I shot 3 under on that side. So I kind of just told myself on that tee box, like, I looked at the leaderboard and saw that I was tied for the lead with my teammate, and I told myself, like, if you get some putts to fall and hit it as good as you did on that side, then nobody will catch you. And that's kind of I got lucky and had some putts fall, but that's the mindset I took into that side. So I guess it was kind of on 10 tee box, and the shot I hit on 10 really fired me up.
Being where you were, 10 under par with 2 to go, what was going through your mind on that tee shot on 17?
Nerves, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I didn't have that many thoughts because I was hitting it so well. So that's something that I'll definitely take from this week is how little thoughts I had over the ball and just how little I was thinking. I don't really remember what I was thinking about, but I hit it good and it flew right over the pin to like 40 feet. So, yeah.
And then the putt on 18, it looked like it was within, 8 feet maybe, a chance to shoot 61?
Yeah, the putt was it was like 9 feet, I think. And I had a 9-footer in qualifying a month ago to shoot 61, and I made it. And so I thought I was going to make this one too, but I got really, really nervous and played it out way left. And I don't know why, but that's definitely something to learn from as well. And missed it way high, but had a tap in par. So
you built yourself a pretty insurmountable lead, but there were some challengers out there in that final round, right?
Yeah, so I didn't exactly look at my phone all the time, but I checked it on, I think, 11 tee box and again on 15 tee box or maybe 14 tee box. So I knew that there were some guys challenging. I think my lead was like 6 with 3 holes to play, and I probably shouldn't have known that, but I wanted to take home the trophy on 16. Like I said, I was ready to be done, but there were still 3 more holes left, so I 4-putted hole 16, and there were definitely some guys pushing me. I know Jonas Bumgardner played great, so I think there was a lot of good players behind me, and I had to keep my focus coming down the stretch.
What's the one thing that you take away from Seminole?
I think it's how good the maintenance staff is, because I was looking at how much land this property has, and that's kind of a weird thing to say, but this property has a ton of land and there's almost no rough. So they have to cut the fairways tight on an enormous property every single day. And the greens were pretty fast yesterday and then ridiculously fast today. So they were probably 13s yesterday and then 14s today. And to get greens that fast, you have to triple cut and triple roll them. So I don't know much else about the property except for that there's a lot of land and a lot of good golf course, and the maintenance staff did an incredible job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
When we come back, you will find out who won the match play and hear from the winning head coaches of those schools. But first, I need to tell you about our good friends at Blackman Auctions. Since 1938, better auctions have always been Blackman Auctions. Blackman Auctions is one of our great sponsors on From the Short Grass. Thomas Blackman and his crew, they know auctions. Find them on the web at blackmanauctions.com. We are back after this. Stay with us.
Heading to El Dorado to check out some live music or to play Mystic Creek? Stay at the Haywood, the only boutique hotel in the middle of downtown and the Murphy Arts District. If you are spending a weekend in Hot Springs, make plans now at the Marriott Courtyard close to Lake Hamilton and Oaklawn. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotel Group manages both of these fine properties, and you will rest easy knowing that your every need is taken care of. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels on the web at bphotels.com.
Strength is measured not by the number of accounts. Strength is placing value on relationships. It's having the vision and the guts to invest in growth. It's the commitment to responsibly manage your money. At Stevens, we believe that our strengths build success, not only for us, but for our clients. Stevens, member NYSE, SIPC.
This is Thomas Blackman with Blackman Auctions. You all know by now I'm not a good golfer, but my son loves the game and he and I have been playing more. I've got my score down to, I've quit playing a scramble on every hole. I'm using the bunker rake much less than I used to, and a lot of the time I hit my drives past the women's tee box. All of my success in golf can directly be tied to me listening to From the Short Grass. Without it, I would not be the golfer I am today. Trey, you owe me $20 for that. Trey knows golf, I know auctions. Come see us at BlackmanAuctions.com. Since 1938, better auctions are Blackman Auctions.
4 teams on the men's side and 4 teams on the women's side advanced to match play. The 3-seeded Duke Blue Devils took on the 4th-seeded South Carolina Gamecocks on the women's side. Duke beat South Carolina 3-2. The 2-seed Stanford Cardinal took on the 1-seed Wake Forest, and Stanford came out on top 4-1 in match play. I spoke with their head coach, Ann Walker, after their team victory. Coach, congratulations, 2022 Jackson T. Stevens Cup champions. How does that sound?
It sounds great. We came here this week not knowing how this would shake out with so many wonderful teams in the field. Last night we were just pumped to be in this final match, and we never got ahead of ourselves, so now to kind of just take a breath and realize that we won the championship feels great.
It's kind of odd because Wake Forest, what they did in stroke play, but then match play, it's a totally different game, isn't it?
Yes, and you're preaching to the choir. We've had our fair share of winning the medal at the NC2As and bowing out for a second. Match play is just so different. And I think that's helped us down the line, just knowing that whatever happens in stroke play, it's just about getting your spot in match play. But then from there, the dominoes fall the way they fall.
Having the players that you have and their rankings and the amateur rankings, was there a lot of pressure coming into this one that you're the team to beat?
You know, everyone says that. That's not what we say internally. And I think if you get caught up in the noise around you and what everyone says around you, that's typically when things don't shake out. And so we work really hard. We're fortunate that we're in a position that people say that about us, and these young women have earned that right. But at the same time, we work really hard on just staying focused on what we're doing every day and not thinking about the outside noise.
Coming in to here, Seminole Golf Club, what were your expectations?
I didn't know what to expect. I watched last May on the Walker Cup, and it just looked epic, but it also looked impossible. So it was nice that the hurricane blew through last week and dumped some rain, because that made it a little more responsive, which I think was great for the entire field. But I am blown away. This golf course, the views, the vistas, the green complexes, the history, the membership, the quality of the conditioning of the golf course, the pro shop staff. There's not a single thing about this place that was underwhelming. In fact, it was really all overwhelming.
Where does this rank, winning the Jackson T. Stevens Cup? It's a tournament that is in its infancy still.
Well, it was an absolute delight to meet Mr. Stevens this week and learn of his father, and to know that you're playing for a great man who loved the game and gave to so many. I think just knowing that history about Mr. Stevens, even though we weren't fortunate enough to meet him, it gives it a little extra prestige, and you get the feeling that we're right at the beginning of something that's going to be here for many years to come and is just going to continue to grow. And we're going to look back and be just grateful that we have one of these trophies on our desk, and hopefully it won't be the last.
What kind of adrenaline does this give you and the team going forward for the rest of the season?
Well, we head home next week, and we always love that tournament. And so to be at Pebble and win and then come here and take this victory, it gets us really excited to go home next week, host everyone at our house.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
On the men's side, Stanford, Texas, UNC, and FSU advanced to match play. The 3-seeded Stanford Cardinal matched up against the 4th-seeded Texas Longhorns, Stanford coming out on top 3-2. It was an all-ACC final. UNC, the number 1 seed, against the 2-seed Florida State University, and it came down to the last match, UNC winning it 3-2. I spoke with the head coach, Andrew DiBitetto, after his team's victory. Coach of the 2022 Jackson T. Stevens Cup champion. How does that sound?
Pretty darn good. Our guys had a really nice week. Obviously, they were fantastic in stroke play, and a really tough match today against a really good Florida State team, but nice to cap off the week with winning the whole thing.
An all-ACC final.
Yeah, all-ACC final. We're pretty biased, but we think the ACC is pretty darn good. I feel like our conference has shown that for the last couple of years in college golf, especially, men and women's side. So, ACC is strong.
You had the individual champion, just an unbelievable couple of rounds, 3 rounds really, by David Ford, and then you won the stroke play basically by 20 strokes. If it ended there, you would have been a winner by 20 strokes. Match play is totally different. What did you tell your team coming in to the match play portion?
We've actually been in this situation before. The last 2 ACC championships, we played really well in stroke play, kind of won that portion of it by quite a bit, and then haven't won our first match. But again, the ACC, our conference is loaded with really good teams, so it's not like, our guys played poorly or anything like that. But the message today was literally just keep doing what you're doing. Attack the golf course the way that you've been attacking it, the past 2 days. And today the greens were a little bit firmer, but they were significantly faster. So there were probably, fewer birdie opportunities out there. But I thought obviously overall our guys hung in there. They were, phenomenal down the stretch in critical spots.
What did you know about Seminole coming in, and what do you leave here knowing about Seminole?
That it's awesome and that it's awesome. We are fortunate. We have there's a lot of Tar Heels that are here. So 3 out of our 5 guys have been down here. We've come down here, we came down here on a practice trip maybe like 3 years ago. And like I said, 3 of those guys are still here. So we had seen it. We kind of knew what to expect. But the whole locations, especially today, were slightly different than we were when we were just down here messing around a couple years ago. But this place is absolutely fantastic. I noticed it as soon as we stepped on property, the changes they made. Just they really, I felt like you could see everything before, and now you can really see everything, and it's marvelous. It's just absolutely gorgeous to look out and see everything.
What does a win like this do for your program?
Winning in our sport is really hard. We talk about it all the time, so we don't take it for granted. I think the best players in the world win it 7, 8, 9% of the time. So we go home and we celebrate this whole thing as a team, and then our guys are fantastic. They'll quickly get over this and be right back on to the next one, trying to figure out how they can get better so that we can have even more success in the future.
Obviously looking forward to Greyhawk. That's the goal, to get there, get into the match play. What do you need to do between now and then?
Yeah, just honestly keep doing what we do and what we've always done, which is we focus on us and we focus on getting better. And it's a never-ending process, and there's peaks and there's valleys, but our guys have a lot of self-belief and a lot of confidence. So for the most part, they're pretty steady.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The goal of the Jackson T. Stevens Cup is to create a distinctive and highly competitive collegiate tournament that is comprised of future PGA Tour and LPGA Tour players. And that is exactly what this year's tournament produced. Warren Stevens, chairman of the Jackson T. Stevens Cup, joined me after handing out the trophy to the winning teams. The second annual Jackson T. Stevens Cup comes to a close, and Stanford and North Carolina win. What an amazing facility to host this event.
Well, it is, Trey, and we're so fortunate that Seminole let us do it here, and their staff just did a magnificent job, particularly Nelson Karen and the grounds crew. 3 weeks ago or so, they had a hurricane blow through here, and I'm told it was a mess. So not only did they get it repaired and fixed from that, you can see how hard they can make this golf course today with the speed of these greens. It's really frightening at times. I saw 2 women in the same group today putted off the front of 14 green, and these are great players. They're not accustomed to doing that. So just show you Seminole's teeth and what they can do if they put their mind to it, which they did today.
It seemed to me like every team, every competitor came up to you and thanked you. What does it mean to you when you see that from everybody that was here?
Well, it means the world to me, really. I've never spent much time around college golfers until Alotian hosted the Arnold Palmer Cup. And they're a very special group of young men and women, and they're the future of the game, whether it's professional or just love of the game. And I think to be able to host players at golf courses like this and clubs like this is so special to them, and I appreciate them coming up and all saying thanks, and they did. I think every Every team came up, whether they played, in match play or not. They came up and said thanks. So that's that's one of the great things about golf is the camaraderie and the fellowship, and it's a special game.
Did Seminole exceed your expectations this week? Did it meet your expectations? What do you take away from this week?
Oh, I had pretty high expectations for Seminole, and they certainly didn't disappoint. It rained Sunday night and softened the golf course up on Monday for Monday's play, and I think that had something to do. I know it had something to do with the low scores in the medal play part of the tournament. But today they were actually out having to syringe some of the greens because of the speed, and they had all dried out. So it's hard to exceed expectations when I had very high expectations. They came pretty close if they didn't, in fact, exceed it.
How about the Stanford women? They come all the way from Palo Alto, from the West Coast to the East Coast, and they take down Wake Forest, where you went to college. You don't have a rooting interest, but you probably kind of were hoping that the Demon Deacons would have pulled it out.
Well, I was just proud of the Deeks for making it to the finals and being the number one seed in the match play. Stanford has a great team, and Wake does too, and I think we'll see a lot more of both those teams come spring at the NCAAs. And if that in fact happens, it'll be a great match.
On the men's side, North Carolina, I mean, the stroke play, they were 20 strokes ahead of Florida State, but as you well know, anything can happen in match play, and it almost did today.
You're right. Anything can happen in match play, and it looked like for a while it was going to happen today. In fact, I was watching a little bit with a friend of mine who went to North Carolina, and he was very worried because he said, we do this. We're in the NCAA and we lose in the first round or second round, and obviously that didn't happen today. But I watched a little bit of the tournament today on Golf Channel, and I know the North Carolina coach challenged him, saying at this point in the season Vanderbilt was better than they were, and they needed to do something about it. So I think they've decided they're going to do something about it, and they seem to be in an awfully good spot. But they had 5 players in the top 10 in the field at the end of 54 holes. That's pretty tough. But as you said, anything can happen in match play, and it almost did today. Florida State played very, very well.
When you look to next year, it's probably only going to get better. You're going to Trinity Forest in Dallas, and I know they had some representatives here, and they've got some bright ideas for next year as well.
The Trinity Forest team that was here, they're very, very excited about hosting it next year, and we're excited about going. And Dallas will be a great exposure for a lot of these kids, and Trinity Forest will be another great golf course for them to get to play on and experience.
Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for putting this together and helping grow the game.
It's my pleasure, Trey. That's the whole point, is growing the game. So I think we're helping a little bit.
Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels. They know how to manage hotel properties. Blair Allen, Matthew Allen, they are the brain trust of Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels. Find them on the web at bphotels.com. We're back after this.
This is Thomas Blackman with Blackman Auctions. The economy is changing slowly but surely. The market is slowing down in a gradual slide. Not an emergency yet, the sky is not falling, but a change is coming. When times are good, auctions make buyers compete to buy at the highest market value. When the economy gets tough, auctions force buyers to make a purchase decision. Either way, auctions get the highest return for a seller and a strong deal for a buyer. With an experienced auction company, it's a simple process. Go to blackmanauctions.com for more information. Since 1938, better auctions are Blackman Auctions.
With all the decisions you need to make about what to do in El Dorado, finding a place to stay is an easy one. The Haywood is uniquely positioned to make your stay one to treasure. Located in the historic Union Square district of El Dorado, the Haywood offers luxurious accommodations that feature contemporary, colorful rooms with high-quality bedding, comfortable baths with walk-in showers, and a spacious workspace with stylish plantation shutters that are unique additions to the stunning decor in a non-smoking environment. Make the Haywood your home away from home the next time you visit El Dorado.
That will do it for this edition of From the Shortgrass. Remember to repair your ball marks on the green and a couple of more. And I hope to see you next time from the Shortgrass.
You've been listening to From the Shortgrass, a weekly podcast dedicated to the game of golf. This has been a presentation of the Buzz Radio Network.